Today, we are talking about how to make money when you are not booking. I know the second that a slow season arrives in photography, people start getting nervous and they start wondering, what the heck am I going to do? Because even if you are booking, a lot of times it's not for the season that you're in, especially if you're in wedding photography. Those bookings may be for a much later date, so you're not getting the income that you really would get in a normal season. As we know, photography is a seasonal business, very much depending on where you live. If you live in more cool climates, there's going to be parts of the year where people are just not going to want to book. No one wants to get dressed up and go out in the snow with their family when it's snowing heavily. It's like 20 degrees outside. It's very difficult to keep up the momentum during those months. Also, if you live in a hot climate like I do in Florida, no one really wants to do a lot of sessions in the summertime. They're also vacationing because school is out. Everyone's taking some time off. So there's going to be normal fluctuations depending on the seasons. Now, luckily, if you're in a warmer climate like I am, I have been able to be shooting through months where a lot of other people in other states are not able to, just because our weather stays warm year round here. But we do get very seasonably hot a few months out of the year. And so we have our own slow seasons as well. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, because I don't want you to feel like you're doing anything wrong. I don't want you to feel like, am I going to be able to have a sustainable business? There are things that you can do in slow season to continue bringing that income in that will help you float you during those times. Okay, so let's talk about how to make money when you're not booking. So, like I was saying, when those slower seasons happen as a photographer, the number in your bank account can feel a bit scary, but there's nothing to worry about because there are things that you can do to bring in money when bookings are slow. Okay, so I want you guys to get out a pen and paper because I want you to have a physical resource, a reference with tools that you can pull out and implement when you're not getting bookings. Okay, what you need to understand is you're not just a photographer, you are a business owner. And with that, you have the freedom to choose when you work, when you don't, how busy you want to be, the amount of income you want to make, and you get to determine how you live and run your business. That's what's so awesome about being a business owner. But as awesome as these things are, the reality of having a business is that there are ups and downs. Okay, there will be days where you have so many bookings you feel like you can't keep up, and there will be days when all you hear are crickets. All right, there are seasons where you'll be more busy than others, and it's up to you to plan for those ups and downs that naturally occur in business. Okay, so let's talk about some of the reasons that you may not be booking and what you can do during those times to keep the income rolling in. Okay, so again, photography is a seasonal industry. All right, so just because you're not booking, it doesn't mean that you necessarily did something wrong or that people don't want to book with you. It can simply be that it's summertime, like I mentioned. It's super hot, and a lot of people are out of town and on vacation. They don't want to be outside and be sweaty for pictures. Totally valid reason, okay? Or maybe it's holiday time and there's snow on the ground, or maybe it's rainy season and people are just not booking, okay? Again, this does not mean you can't get bookings throughout the year, but there are definitely times where you will book less and times where you will book more. Completely normal. Okay, so typically you're going to see a downturn during the hottest and coolest months, no matter where you live. And it's always a good thing to have a game plan that allows you to bring in some extra money, because regardless of the season, we still have to pay Pixieset, we still have to pay Honeybook and QuickBooks. Those bills don't change or go away regardless of the season, right? So let's start talking about ways that we can actually make income. Okay, Kai says, Florida question, is summer a heavy rain season and does it hinder booking? Great question. Our rain is so strange in the state of Florida. It literally can rain in your front yard and look beautiful in the backyard. Actually, we had a day like that last week where my husband noticed there was sunshine in the back. I said, I think it's going to rain. It looks awfully dark and cloudy. And he went to the front window and sure enough, black clouds. So our rain, even though we have a lot of it here in Florida, it doesn't typically last long. So I have a weather policy in place so that if rain isn't an issue, my clients know exactly what to expect with me, and we've got a game plan. So that's always important if you're living in an area like that. But yes, we do have sometimes where it's more rainy than others, but it doesn't really stop too many of us from booking, just because it's usually short-lived. And we can usually just make sure that we're following the weather, and that helps us out a lot. So I've been really lucky to not have to deal too much with that. The couple of times where it did start raining during a session, it was so light, didn't hinder us a bit, which was awesome. All right, so the first way that you can make income when you're not booking is through offering albums, prints, and products. All right, whether it's newborns, families, couples, wedding couples. Oftentimes an item that was in consideration when a client previously worked with you was taken off the table. Okay, this can especially happen with wedding clients who spent a lot of money on their wedding and photos, and at the time they may feel like they're not ready to invest in something like an album, though it's absolutely something they would have loved to have had. Okay, so regardless of the type of client, if they passed up an album or wall print, just know that life gets busy. All right, even if they say, I'll reach out to you next month when we've got more wiggle room in the budget, typically that doesn't happen. All right, so during these slower seasons, you can re-engage with your previous clients and let them know you've got an opportunity going on. This is why it's so important to have things like an email list, guys, because those are the clients and those are the people who follow you who are asking to hear more from you. They're asking to be in the know of what's going on in your business, even more so than social media. All right, so this is a very good reason to have that email list. All right. So a great strategy to encourage print and product sales, let me talk to you about this because this is exactly what I do. So the first thing you can do is create a specialized offer. All right, so you can do like a 20% off albums. You could do a buy one canvas, get one 50% off. All right. But when you have a specialized offer, you have to create a sense of urgency. All right. If you do not give someone incentive and a sense of urgency, no one moves a muscle. No one does. If an offer never ends, there's no reason to buy. All right. So how do you create a sense of urgency with your offer? Number one, you set a deadline. For example, this offer expires in 72 hours. Right? Number two, you set a limitation. You can say, I only have time in my schedule to create 5 albums. The first 5 clients to respond will receive this special. All right. Thirdly, you can offer exclusivity, where you can say, I've got an exclusive offer reserved only for past clients. Buy 2 Christmas ornaments and get 1 free. Keep 1 for yourself and give 2 to the grandparents for Christmas. Giving urgency is one of my biggest sales strategies. Okay, people are busy and they need a reason to take action now. All right, any questions on that before I move on to the second way that you can make money when you're not booking? Kai, you are welcome. All right, second way, gift cards. The second way you can make income when things are slow is by offering gift cards. Okay, they're an excellent option to increase sales, especially in the wintertime if things are super slow during the holidays. Or actually, we're usually busy right up until the holidays, but to carry you into that new year, begin offering those during holiday time. Okay, events like Christmas, Valentine's Day, spring itself too, and birthdays, Mother's Day. Those are great incentives for people to purchase a gift card. All right. Thirdly, you can assist and you can second shoot. All right, regardless of whether or not you are involved in wedding photography. Okay, so just because you might be slow in a season doesn't necessarily mean there aren't weddings and events still going on, and people need help. They need help, and they need good quality help. Trust me when I say that. So if you can be someone who's professional and responsible and do your best for someone, you are needed in the community. Trust me. All right. So during slower months, you'll especially see a lot of styled shoots going on. People can always use an assistant. I can always use an assistant. You guys know I plan styled shoots as well. So join Style Shoot and Photographer Facebook groups and look for posts requesting help, or better yet, be proactive and just post and let others know that you are available to help. Okay. You can assist a style shoot, a wedding, or an event. All right, when you assist, you're basically a second pair of hands for a photographer or an event coordinator, and it literally is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, okay? Super simple job. pays pretty dang decently too. People need help. And again, when you are someone who can offer value, because trust me, people within the industry are not always practicing their best professionalism as they should be. Okay, let's be honest here for a minute. So if you can be your best, they're going to call you back. They're going to pay you more. So just know that. Okay. Now, second shooting is a fantastic way to make more income throughout the year. And it's always an education to see how other photographers do their thing at weddings. That is a much needed task as well. And also, guys, there are people who actually second shoot for a living. That is their business. Is that interesting? I don't think a lot of people realize that, but there are people who second shoot events and weddings as a living. Instead of having their own clients, they service other photographers. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. John says, love the gift card idea. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that doesn't really always come to mind. This is a season about being creative. When you're not booking, it's a time to get creative. All right. So the fourth way to make money when you are not booking is book weddings. And I know that doesn't sound right because we're talking about what to do when you're not booking. But typically what happens when you're not booking is that you have more time on your hands, right? So if you're not booking sessions, like regular photo portrait sessions, due to it being slow season because it's cold or it's hot, a great option to bring more income is to market and book weddings, okay? A lot of people get engaged over the holidays, and one of the first people that they book are wedding photographers, okay? They've got to pay their deposits, and this is a way to keep the income coming in. Slow seasons are great for marketing to couples in the winter and summer. It's just the perfect time to bring in more money, okay? Now, typically, if you're a wedding photographer, then you're gonna be marketing throughout the year for that, right? But especially when things are slower, take the time to hone in on the fact that you have something valuable to offer and that you are available to book, all right? The fifth way to make money when you are not booking, and I love this one because I'm an artist and it's just, I love this. Offer art prints, all right? This is different from offering prints of your portraits to clients. This is about offering photography as a decorative art, all right? Have you ever thought about being mindful of your bouquet photos as a wedding photographer and taking some additional images that could be suitable as art prints? Not a lot of people think about that. You can do that. You can do that. It's all in your aesthetic already. People would love to have florals framed, matted to go on their wall, all right? You wanna make sure that this is branded and it fits your style. Otherwise, you might want to consider a different website, a different shop to offer those and market that separately. But we are busy enough in our own businesses where I know thinking about having this secondary side business is kind of freaks you out a little bit. So to diversify, instead of making a completely separate business, what you want to do is make sure that you have images that are branded that your clients would love to add to their home decor that complements their portraits. All right. A good example of making this work is Amy and Jordan Demos. I don't know if you guys know them. They are very popular educators in the photography industry. They offer landscapes that are the same aesthetic as their portraits. So it complements their clients' portraiture work beautifully. All right. They simply offer a purchase of digital downloads. So there's no inventory, and it's a fantastic opportunity for passive income. All right. So there's just so many creative ways when you talk about photography in the art world that you can make more income. Kai says this might be too pricing specific, but what would you suggest as a price markup on art prints? I use White House, for example. That could be a whole other talk. It's going to depend, Kai. If you're going to do physical prints, what's going to happen is you're going to have an inventory that you're going to need to track and keep accountable for your accountant. And you may be dealing with shipping on top of that, packaging. Now, I've done all this because, again, I'm also a painter. I'm an artist, so I've been in that world for a long time. But if you want to keep it simple, like what Amy and Jordan do, they actually offer just a digital download. So they don't deal with the printing, they don't deal with the framing. And so when you're looking at those digital downloads, they can start anywhere from $12 an image, which is on the low end, okay? But when you start looking at prints, you're going to see, and I'm talking about the physical ones that you'd have print at a print shop and you would ship out. You've got to think about, inventory. Or if you're doing example, like you said, from White House, you probably can be able to just ship it directly to your clients from there and not have to deal with that. So you have a lot of different options. But when it comes to being in the art world and you're having these art prints that you're selling, you guys think about this. If you wanted to in the off season, you can go set up at art shows. They're always the first few months of the year where it's still a little cool, but things are slow for everyone else. Art is huge in the spring and in the January, February, March, at least in Florida for us, even though I know it's winter elsewhere. That's a huge time because our weather is so beautiful here. So there's so many avenues that you can go in, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys. But when it does come to prints, I'm a stickler on it being art prints being archival, and they should be when they're coming from WHCC. Or from Miller's. Those, all those products, just check and see, but all those should be archival, okay? So there's a different price point for those than someone who might just be printing them out on an inkjet printer, all right? So you can see an 8x10 that is at an art show, like a festival, that is in a cellophane sleeve with a foam core backing, and Mad It or Not can start around $25 for an 8x10, and then they go up from there. That's not to say that you're not going to see other prints for $10, $15, $20, but usually in that lower range, that would be for items that are not archival. John says, is there a risk of losing your niche if you're marketing prints or other stuff as a portrait photographer? I started with landscapes and nature, so I have a bunch of stuff, but pivoted into portraits as a priority last year. Again, it needs to be branded. Otherwise, you need to have a separate marketing tactic and a separate website for that. So I really, John, really encourage you to look up Amy and Jordan Demos, Demos, and you're going to see what I mean when you talk about the fact that their portraits look their landscapes look exactly like it's the same backgrounds that they are taking the portraits of their clients in. And so it's very branded and it makes sense. If you're a wedding photographer and you're already taking images of florals and they're in your feed and they're on your website, bouquets and things like that, that naturally would flow into being able to offer art prints on the same website. So I hope that helps. It does need to make sense to your brand. Otherwise, you need to market that separately. All right. I know this is opening a whole can of worms when I'm talking art prints, but yeah, if you guys have any additional questions, let me know about that, because I love that idea. There's just so many options. But if you want a no-brainer, easy way to do it, and you know that you've got a product that would make sense for your brand, do a digital download. Do a digital download, completely hands-free. Let them take care of the printing. Let them take care of the framing. No matter what, this is a great avenue for passive income. All right. So another way, and the final way we're going to talk about today, there's so many ways. I get really excited about this because this just is like creativity time to come up with brainstorming what to do. But I'm going to talk about one more today, and that is writing blogs. All right. Do you know how many photographers and creative professionals struggle with writing their own blogs? If writing is a strong suit of yours, you can consider writing other people's blogs in the industry for a very good fee. Think about it. A slower season, guys, it's about being intentional. It's a time to market yourself so people know, or beef up the marketing, that is, so that people know that you're available to book, even if not now, definitely in the future, okay? Update your website, update your copy, update your PDFs. But during this time, there are so many opportunities to bring in additional income that you may not have thought about, all right? So I want you guys to take some time, get creative, sit down and brainstorm what opportunities you can create for yourself and bring in that extra money.